All right, everyone, welcome to our balance class today. I'm excited for class because we have three different groups of exercises that we're going to be doing because balance requires a lot of muscles. It's not just one thing. It's not just simply balance. Balance requires our core muscles to be engaged, our hip muscles to be engaged, and then balance. Without those first two components, our balance is more likely than not going to be great because we have to activate those muscles. So we've got three exercises to wake up our core, three exercises to wake up our glutes and our hips, and then three balance-based exercises. Most of the exercises today are seated, but I will be showing you standing versions of some of the exercises. There is no right or wrong or better than the other. Choose what feels best for you today. And if you're watching the recording, the next time you do this class, you might be choosing one of the different options. So again, there's no right or wrong, just listen to your body and we'll go ahead and get started. Let me get back to my chair. Okay, when you're ready, go ahead and sit up tall and just shake everything out. We're just gonna loosen things up first. So often, muscles that are prone to be tight just tend to stay tight in us, and muscles that tend to be weak tend to stay loose. And so one thing with balance is we want all of our muscles to be working with each other, not against each other. So taking this time to just relax and be loose and just shake everything out is actually really important. It basically primes our body that we are about to do something that's going to require it to move. So once you're done shaking out, go ahead and sit up tall, close those hands. Don't squeeze too much, just close, and go ahead and swing those arms. If you are newer to my classes, you might not know this, but doing a cardio exercise before our functional strengthening and balance exercises primes our brain for neuroplasticity. Meaning, just simply by doing some cardio or aerobic exercises first, our brain is that much more likely to strengthen our muscles and strengthen the connection between our brain and our muscles, which are the neural pathways. And when you have MS, that is imperative. That is the reason that you will get stronger and better balance and walk better. So I like to do seated cardio, just like we're doing right now. If this feels easy, pick up the pace. The goal is just to get your heart rate up. We're gonna do our 5 fastest seconds in 3, 2, 1, and go fast for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and slow it down and stop. Shake everything out. You can slouch, you can stretch if you need to. And then go right into our second cardio move, which is close those hands and punch forward. Ideally punching at shoulder height, where your fist is about the same height as your shoulder. But if you have shoulder limitations or that just doesn't feel comfortable, you can always punch down towards your knees. This will be less challenging for your shoulders. So punch, punch, punch. Keep going. Again, the goal here is heart rate. Get that heart rate up, cardio, aerobic exercise. So if you need to, pick up the pace or add more motion, get that heart rate up. Whatever you gotta do. Go faster, more power, especially with this one. Pretend there's a punching bag in front of you. Really punch hard with every movement. Keep going. We're gonna do our 5 fast seconds in 3, 2, 1, and go fast for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and slow it down. Stop. Shake everything out. We're going to do one final cardio movement, and it's kind of a doozy. This is our upper body jumping jacks. So when you're ready, fix your posture. Palms are facing me, elbows are straight, and you're coming up and down, up and down. Again, if you have shoulder limitations, feel free to stop at a T. Feel free to just stay down here, more like some flutters. Anywhere in here is fair game. You don't have to look exactly like I'm looking. Again, the goal is cardio. Just get that heart rate up, put in some effort so that your heart has to work. And keep going. You could just bend your elbows more, Make this look and feel good for you. Something that's so important with exercise, especially with MS, but even without MS, is that it doesn't really matter what you look like. What matters is that you're feeling the correct muscles engage. So I'll try to always tell you exactly where you should be feeling the exercises. All right, and we're gonna do 5 fast seconds in 3, 2, 1, and go fast. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and stop there. That one always burns my shoulders. Shake everything out. Okay, we're officially moving into our balance-based exercises, and we're starting with our core. So for the first one, I'm going to turn my chair to this side just so you can see more clearly what I'm doing. So we're all going to be sitting towards the edge of your seat. You want to make sure that you still feel safe and comfortable. If you're too far forward that you feel like you're going to slide off, that's too far forward. So towards the front edge of your chair, sitting up nice and tall, hands on your lap, and you're going to hinge backwards with a flat back as far back as you can go, and then pull yourself up and then back. So whenever you're ready, go ahead and join me and up. Now, ideally, you'll be feeling this exercise in your belly muscles. You might also feel this in your hip flexors. If that's the case, there's 2 things I want you to do. Mentally focus on your belly muscles, your abs, your core. Even if you can't see any abs, they are still there. Focus on engaging the belly muscles. The second thing I want you to do, if you're still feeling it in your hips, is don't go back as far. Even though you might be able to go back further, don't. Stop only so that you feel your belly muscles engage and not your hips kick in. You'd hold there and then come up and back. Pause. Up. Back. Pause. We've got 5 more. We're doing higher repetitions today. What that means is instead of stopping around 10 repetitions, we're going to be doing around 15. That can help with improving stamina and endurance of our muscles so that we can do things for longer. And up, 2 more. Back. And up. And 1 more. Back. Pause. And up. Oh, and relax. We've got 2 more core exercises. You can let yourself slouch, shake things out if you need to. Our next one is going to be our side muscles. So for the one we just did, you should have felt your front belly muscles working. Now, ideally, you're going to feel your side belly muscles working. So again, you're towards the edge of your chair, sitting up nice and tall, hands are down by your side, and you're going to tip. Now, this is just a tip. You're not leaning you're not like lifting one side of your hip up and then down on the other side. It's just an upper body tip. I like to picture that teapot song, tip me over and pour me out. That's all we're doing. That's how you'll use these muscles and not your whole side. So when you're ready, tip in one direction and slowly come back up and tip in the other direction. So what you should be feeling is as you're reaching down, so as I'm reaching down towards the right side, I'll feel a big stretch in my left side. And then as I pull up, I feel my left side clenching and tightening, engaging. So we're stretching out the one side, followed by strengthening that side. And tip, it's totally normal to be able to reach further in one direction than the other. You might be able to reach further towards the left or further towards the right. That's fine. The goal is not necessarily symmetry. Tip and up. And try your best to make sure that you are staying straight, I guess is the word I want to use. What I mean by that is that you're just tipping directly to the side. You're not coming forward at all. That's a completely different muscle group. So you're just tipping to one side and up and the other side. None of this, no coming forward and up. Good job. Keep going. and up, really feeling and focusing on the sides of your waist, and up. Keep going. We might be all going at a slightly different pace, but what's important is that you're going slow and steady. If you're going too quickly, you will not feel these exercises in the same way. And we have a tendency to go faster. Movements tend to be easier when we go faster. Good, 2 more each side. Tip, hopefully you really feel these muscles engaging, tightening, stretching, all the things. And up, 1 more each side. Tip. And up. One thing I like to mention with this exercise is that the goal is not necessarily to touch the ground. You'll see I'm pretty far from the ground. So often, good, you can stop there. So often we think the goal is to touch the ground, and when we think that's the goal, that's when we tend to overcompensate by leaning forward. Okay, our final core exercise is going to engage the front, the sides, and the obliques. So you're still sitting towards the edge of your chair. You're going to hold on to your hands in whatever way feels comfortable to you. There's no right or wrong, but we're going to twist. And you're going to twist as far as you can, almost like you're wringing out a wet towel, but your core is the wet towel. So you're twisting, 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 go as far back as you can. You're not touching the chair. You're just using your belly muscles to try to get yourself to turn as far as possible. And then unwind, come back to the center and go in the other direction. Twist, twist, twist. The way to get your belly muscles really working here is to put in as much effort as possible and to try to turn as far back as you can. The more effort you put in, the more you'll feel those belly muscles engaging. In and turn. This is our last core exercise, really trying to wake up those belly muscles so that when we're moving on to balance, those muscles are working and they're turned on and twist. Now I have my arms up here. That's just what feels natural to me. If you have shoulder limitations or that doesn't feel natural to you, you can lower your arms. They don't have to be touching if you don't want. Do whatever you need to do to feel like you're getting as much twist as possible. And twist, slow and steady. Once you're as far as you can, hold, 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 and then release and keep going. Again, we're doing a few more repetitions here so that we're also working on endurance and stamina, meaning you can balance not just for a few seconds, but maybe 10 seconds. Or you can feel more balanced while walking for 10 yards instead of 2 yards. And back. Keep going. Slow and steady wins the race. It's harder, but worth it. And twist. Oh, keep going. If you're someone who gets dizzy easily, then instead of turning your head with every repetition, you can just stay looking straight. You can still twist quite a decent amount without your head ever turning. So keep that in mind too if you tend to get dizzy. And release. Keep going. After this one, we've got 1 more each side. Unwind. All right, 1 more to the right. Twist, twist, twist. And unwind. 1 more to the left. Twist, twist, twist. And unwind. And then stop. Hopefully your core muscles feel a little tired after those exercises. Shake everything out. Okay, we've done our core exercises. The way that I like to visualize that is our core muscles have a light switch and those are now turned on. So now we're moving down to our glutes. Our glutes play a huge role in balance. Our glutes are the outer hip muscles. And we also are going to do a stretch for the inner thigh muscles because having flexibility here and strength here can help us maintain balance. So what you're going to do, this is a seated or standing option. The seated option is you're going to slide 1 leg out and then in. The trick with this is you're trying to keep your knee out as well versus this. Do you see how my knee is falling in? You only want to go out as far as you can where your knee is still coming with you. Your foot and knee should be in the same alignment. So it'll be one side and then the other side. Now, if you're doing this seated option, when you're coming out, you're going to squeeze your butt cheek on that side and then slide back in and out and squeeze this butt cheek and in. If you don't actively think about squeezing those butt muscles, more likely than not, they're not going to engage. You literally need to think about tightening those muscles. Okay, and then the standing option, you can hold on to something for balance if you need to. Same idea, but you're just going to be standing instead. So one leg comes out, you're focusing on squeezing those glutes, and it comes in, and then the other leg goes out, and you're focusing on squeezing those glutes and in. So I'm going a little bit quicker now just for the demonstration, but that's what it's going to look like. So you can choose seated or standing. I'm going to do both. I'm going to start seated and then I'll stand for the second half. Whichever you want to do works. There's no right or wrong, better or worse. Whenever you're ready, if you haven't already, go ahead and chime in, get that exercise going out and in. If you're doing this seated option, your foot is staying on the floor the whole time. You don't have to lift it up and out. You're just sliding out, squeeze, 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 and in, and out, and in. Now, similarly here, you might feel like you can get one leg way wider than the other side. That's okay. There's no right or wrong. It's normal to not be symmetrical. In, and out. So the place that you want to feel this the most is ideally your glutes. Now, one thing I will share with that is that there's this thing called gluteal amnesia where you haven't used your glutes in a while. And so we're doing this glute exercise and you just don't feel anything. That's okay. That can absolutely be normal. The trick is to keep doing the exercise, remembering to squeeze those muscles, even if you're not feeling them work. And eventually, you will start to feel those muscles come out of their amnesia. It might take a week, it might take a month, might take 6 weeks, but you still do the exercise with the same idea of squeezing those muscles. And we're about halfway, so after this one, I'm going to stand up. Up to you if you also want to switch or keep going. Do that here for balance. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And when you're standing, the goal is not to lift it up as high as you can go. The goal is just how far out can you go while squeezing your glutes. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. It's more about where you're feeling it. And in this case, the goal is we feel it somewhere on the outer hips. And out. Keep going. You'll notice for a lot of, if you're looking at me, you'll notice for a lot of the exercises, I'm looking down. These exercises require a lot of concentration to do them correctly and to use the right muscles. With MS, we tend to use the muscles that are strongest, and that's not always the muscles that we want to be using, as crazy as that might sound. We want to strengthen the weakest muscles. Those weak muscles are why you're walking the way that you're walking, why some movements are harder for you than you'd want them to be. And out. Okay, my glutes are feeling it. I hope yours are too. Let's do 2 more each side. And in. Little pause at the end. And out. And in. One more. Out. And in. Oh, let everything relax. If you're standing, you can go ahead and sit down. Now we're going to stretch out the inner thigh muscles. As I mentioned, if you have tight muscles here, then what typically tends to happen is our legs get sucked in. So that means if we want to balance here, our legs are going to get sucked in. And the closer our feet are, the harder balance is. So we want flexibility in our inner thighs. So sitting towards the edge of your chair, sit up nice and tall. Your knees are going to be as wide open as you can get them. Maybe you look like me. Maybe you're here. There's no right or wrong. Just open those knees as wide as you can and then hinge forward. And you're using your hands to push your lower thighs open. From here, turn to twist towards the left, and your right hand is pushing out against your right thigh. That might mean that you start to feel this stretch more on the right inner thigh versus the left, but it might be equal. And keep breathing here. And when you're ready, come all the way back up. Shake your wrists out. We're going to do the same thing again, but just going in the other direction. Up tall, shift forward, and then turn towards the right. And your left hand is pushing out against your left inner thigh. And when you're ready, coming all the way back up, shake those hands out. You can bring those legs in. Our last exercise in this second group to strengthen our hips and our thighs so that balance feels easier is a sit to stand exercise. There's two ways to do this. Again, there's not a better or worse way. Do what feels best for you. Either way, we're all going to be towards the edge of our chair. Open up your feet and your knees wide. So if I show you from the front, I'm going to be about this wide. And then you're going to bend your knees just a little. So once your legs are out, bend your knees. This is going to make the exercise easier. Now, option one is you're going to come forward and push, push, push down. So you're pushing your feet down into the floor, and then you're going to relax. And then you'll push, 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 and relax. So this is option number one, push. And when you're pushing, you should be feeling your glutes, your hamstrings, your quads, your thigh, these muscles working. Option two is when you're pushing, you're actually going to stand up and then sit down. So option two is this. So you're going to push, 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 push to stand, and then slowly lower and relax. With this exercise, if you're choosing this option, focus on where your shoulders are. If you have a tendency to plop down, your shoulders are too far back. So watch my shoulders. I'm leaning forward. My shoulders stay forward until I'm standing. Then they come up. And then when I'm going to sit down, my butt goes back, shoulders are forward until I'm sitting. Then my shoulders come back. So I'm going to start off doing the full sit to stand, and then for the second half, I'm not going to. I'll just push. You do what feels best to you. Whenever you're ready, go ahead and lean forward and push and relax and push and relax. Now, I will say, if you're doing the pushing option, not the option that I'm doing right now where I'm standing up, I often feel like that one is harder because you're pushing for longer. We get a little break here in standing and then we sit down. So if it's too challenging, you might actually want to try standing up. If you can use momentum if you want. Just make sure you are doing this in a safe manner and you're feeling balanced. And down. I'm going to do two more here before I switch. Keep breathing. All right, I'm going to switch here. You can keep going if you want, but I'm going to push, 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 and relax, and push. So in my head, I'm trying to picture how long would it take me to stand up and then sit down, and that's how long I'm trying to push for. I'm pushing almost like I'm trying to get my butt to pop up off the chair, down. Hopefully you're feeling these muscles working on the back side, the thighs. And push If you can, tighten your belly muscles, making sure we're engaging the core like we did with our first exercise. Down, push, down. Whew. I'm feeling it. Two more. Push, push, push. And down. One more. Push. And relax. Oh, hopefully you're feeling that as well. Hopefully it's not just me. Shake everything out. Okay, now the main event are balance exercises. So there's seated and standing ways to do this. I'll show you the seated option first. The first one is side to side weight shifting. So often throughout the day, we have to shift our weight to one side or the other and stay balanced. We can't fall over while we're doing that. So your feet are going to be about maybe shoulder distance apart, a little wider potentially, and you're going to reach to one side. And now you are lifting one hip. Remember the teapot exercise, we were just tipping? This is not tipping, it's leaning. Then back to the center. Lean. If this feels easy for your balance, you can either do the standing option or bring your feet closer. The closer your feet are for all balance exercises, the harder it will be. If you want to do the standing option, starting with your feet about shoulder distance apart, reach, 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 you'll see I'm coming up on my heel, or coming up on my toes, my heel is raising. And then other side, reach and reach. So choose whichever option you want to do. I'll stay standing for starters. Whenever you're ready, feeling stable, feeling steady, knees slightly bent, core is engaged, and reach. So we're using so many muscles right now that we just turned on those light switches. We turned on the light switch of our core, we turned on the light switch of our glutes and our inner thighs, and now we're prepared to balance and reach. You're keeping your core muscles engaged. So often if I don't say that, we forget to do it. Keep those core muscles nice and tight. You're reaching side to side just as far as you can reach. The goal is to reach as far as you can without feeling like you're too unsteady. Back, reach. Woo! Speaking of which, if you do go too far, that's okay. Regain your composure, give yourself a second, and then come back. And reach. You could be seated right now, you could be standing. If you're sitting or standing, if it's too easy, remember, move those feet in. That's going to make it more challenging. Other way. Woo! Man, my left side, I keep losing my balance. I'm going to open my feet up a little bit wider. Reach and center. Reach and center. Keep going. 3 more in each direction. If you're standing, try to make sure your knees are slightly bent and not locked. Back to the center, 2 more each side. Center. Now, because we've already warmed up other muscles, you might heavily be feeling this in your glutes, or you might really be feeling this in your torso area. And in. Last one, reach. And in. And relax. If you're standing, you can go ahead and sit down. Our next exercise is balance and a strengthening combo, but we're going to go slow, and that is what is going to help us primarily focus on the balance component. So the seated option won't feel as much balance, but you're more than welcome to do it. For the seated option, you're going to be sitting up tall and then recline backwards, and you're going to do this marching movement. Just lift one leg up and then down. And your focus is on your belly muscles, tightening those core muscles with every lift. The standing option is really where you're going to get the biggest balance component in. Feet are about shoulder distance apart. You're going to shift your weight onto your left leg as you bring up your right leg. Does not matter how high you're bringing your leg up. Sometimes we would do this exercise as a hip flexor strengthening exercise, and I might tell you lift as high as you can. That is not today. Today's focus is balance. So it's a shift, just lift whatever you can balance in this single leg stance, whether it's for half a second, 1 second, 2 seconds, whatever. Put it down, shift your weight to your other leg, pause, pause, pause as your other leg is up. So we're all going to look very different with this exercise, depending on how long we can hold it, how high we're lifting our leg. Your focus is on your belly muscles and your glutes. The tighter these muscles are that we just turn those light switches on, the more balanced you can feel. So if you haven't already, go ahead and join me. Shift and lift and down. So we're only really holding for maybe a full second. If you can hold for longer and you want to, go for it. If you can't hold as long, that's okay too, just a slow, steady march. This is what I mean when I say do what works best for you today. Might be different than yesterday or tomorrow. Core is engaged, focusing on your glutes, shifting your weight. So that the exercise that we just did was a side-to-side weight shift. We're doing that right now, just in a little bit of a different way. Instead of just shifting this way, we're shifting our weight onto this leg so that we can then lift this leg up. If we don't do that, if I just go to lift this leg, but I still have a ton of weight through it, then this is going to keep happening. I'm going to have to keep putting my leg down. We want to shift our weight off of the leg that we want to lift in order to help us stay more balanced. And lift. Keep going. We're all going to look a little bit different. Core muscles engaged. Squeeze those glute muscles, specifically on the standing leg. Whoop, if you're standing. If you're seated, that's okay too. Focusing on that core. And down. Up. Little pause. 2 more each side. Lift. Lift. 1 more each side. We've got 1 final balance exercise and then a stretch, and then you're done. And last one, lift. And down. If you need to take a rest, go ahead and sit down as I show you the next one. If you want to do the seated option, we're going to be in a staggered stance, weight shifting. So what that looks like if you're sitting, 1 leg is forward, 1 leg is further back. Oftentimes it's easier to do this if you're towards the edge of your chair, if possible. If not, that's okay. You can still do the same thing right from the front of your chair. But 1 leg is forward, 1 is back, and you're going to reach forward over that front knee and then come back and reach forward and come back. If you're standing, you'll notice if you watch as I stand up, it's the same thing. 1 leg is forward, 1 leg is back, and you're reaching onto this front leg is where all your weight is. So you'll see almost all your weight, or as much as you can put through that leg, is bouncing there, and then back to the center. And then reach. And you're putting, again, as much weight as you can through that front leg, as little weight as possible through this back leg, and then back to the center. And then we'll switch. So my right leg was forward, we'll then switch to do the left leg. If your balance is pretty good, the way that you can progress this is bouncing into a single leg balance, moving into a single leg balance, and then back. So it'd be moving forward, balance on 1 leg, and then come back. If your balance isn't so great, then maybe your goal is to get 70% of your weight on your front leg, 30% is still back here, or maybe 60-40, whatever works for you. But we're all going to be shifting our weight forward onto 1 leg and then back to neutral. Got it? Okay, go ahead and assume the position, seated or standing. Again, seated might look something like this. Then when you're ready, go ahead and reach forward and then back to the center. Reach. Your weight's coming onto this front leg and back to the center. Now, even though I'm saying reaching, you'll notice my whole body is moving forward and my whole body is moving back. I'm not hinging at my hips It's everything's coming forward. It's a very different exercise if you're just hinging at your hips versus moving your body weight forward and backwards. Again, if you are standing, try to make sure that your knees are both slightly bent. You don't want your knee to be locked. I know that can be hard. I say it lightly. And shift. And back. Nice job. Keep it up. Few more here. And then we do have to switch sides, so leave a little bit of energy left in your bank. And shift. And back. One more. Shift your weight as much as you can. And back. And now switch sides. So if you were sitting, you're going to switch to the other edge of your chair or stay in the front, but put the other leg forward and the other leg back. So it looks something like this. Any of those variations. If you're standing, just put the other leg forward. We were just like this. So we're going to do that. Okay. And then when you're ready, shift your weight, as much weight as you can, forward onto this front leg. Reach, reach, reach. And then back to neutral. Now, one thing, you keep moving. I'm just going to talk to you at the same time. One thing that I want to point out is that I do not have a big wide stance here. This should feel like a normal step length. Like if you were just walking and I told you to stop and freeze, this might be how far apart your legs would be. Not this. This is going to be so much harder and it's unrealistic. Very rarely do we have our legs this far apart in normal day-to-day walking. So you don't, even though we're shifting a lot of our body weight forward then back, your stance does not need to be that wide. Shift. And back again. Engage those belly muscles, tighten that core. You're using your glutes, especially on the leg that you're standing on. And back. And reach. And back. This is our last exercise before a stretch. I think you'll like the last stretch. It's my favorite stretch. And back. Your focus is how much weight can I put through this front leg? Picture a body weight scale that tells you a percentage of your body weight. 0% meaning no weight. 100% is all of your body weight. Picture it under your front foot. What percentage would it tell you of your body weight? There's no right or wrong, just becoming aware of what that number would be. And then the goal over time is to get more weight on there, more of percentage. One more. Shift, shift, shift. Hold. And back. And relax. You did it. Nice job. Oh my gosh, I just clapped like my 1-year-old's daughter. Good job, guys. Okay, go ahead and sit down. Shake everything out. We're going to do one stretch. You can do more stretches if you want, but we used a lot of our core and our hips today, which is necessary for balance, but we now want to stretch those out so that you can continue on with your day or your night feeling a little bit looser, not so tight. So what you're going to do is grab your right ankle and place it on your left lower thigh. If that is too challenging for you to get into, you're just going to cross like this, one ankle over the other. Regardless, once you're in that position, sit up tall. And you might, if you're tight like me, you might already feel a stretch on the outer part of your hip or thigh. Feel free to stay here. If you do need more of a stretch, you can hinge forward, and it should just intensify that outer hip, thigh stretch. Hopefully you'll feel more balanced as you continue on with your day. That is something, I hear that feedback a lot. Once you've turned on your core muscles, your hip muscles, and balance, that those muscles will stay turned on for a bit and you'll feel more steady. So hopefully you find that to be true. It's always cool when you can notice pretty quick improvements like that. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to tip to one side and then the other. And the goal is just to find something that feels good for you. If you tip this way and you're like, oh yeah, that feels good, I need to stay there, this feels like a good stretch, then you can stay here. Same thing. If this feels better for you, great, you can stay there. If neither really feel like it's doing a whole lot, you can just go side to side. We used a lot of our core, so we're just trying to loosen up those muscles. And whenever you're ready, you're going to lower that leg or uncross that leg. Put it down. And then same thing on the other side, either just cross or grab. Once your hands have it locked in and this leg is dead weight, sit up tall. If you're tight like me, you'll already feel it. If you're not, then you can lean forward. The goal is to feel the stretch somewhere on the outside of your hip or thigh. We're all going to be a little bit different. And keep breathing. All right, and then whenever you're ready, you can add some of those tips, upper body tipping, one direction then the other. You might even feel more of a hip stretch as you lean one way or the other. We're just trying to do what feels good for our bodies. Maybe you actually do more of a rotation versus tipping. There's no right or wrong. All right, and whenever you're ready, you can lower that leg or uncross that leg. Lower it down, give yourself a round of applause, shake everything out. Again, it's important to loosen things up after we've just tightened them by using and contracting those muscles. So shake everything out. Amazing job and great job. I'll see you next time.